everyone to our session today, Walk This Way, which is a quick and effective public space audits. We're really thrilled to have you join us as we explore the art of assessing and enhancing our public spaces for safety and accessibility. First, let me just give you a little bit about AARP. As you may already know, AARP has been working to promote the health and well-being of older adults for more than 60 years through information, advocacy, and resources. Part of that work really includes helping to improve the places we live so we can all thrive, regardless of age, ability, or background. Ultimately, our vision is for a future which communities, urban, suburban, and rural, are great places for all, especially people 50 plus. Shortly, we'll really dive into the practical strategies for conducting efficient walk audits and making meaningful improvements to our surroundings, whether you're a community advocate, an urban planner, or simply passionate about creating walkable environments. This session is really designed to equip you with actionable tools and insights. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation today, please use the Q&A feature across the bottom of your screen. As we mentioned before, if you're on a mobile device, you may need to tap your screen to get that list of options. If you're on a computer or laptop, something of that nature, this will be across the bottom of your screen, and it does say Q&A. We will have an opportunity, plenty of time for question and answers, but also we're going to try to keep you engaged. There'll be a point where we'll ask you to put some answers in the chat. So with that, let's lace up our virtual shoes and embark on this wonderful journey together. Without further ado, I'm going to toss it over to my partner, Teresa, to get us started.
Hi, everybody. So just a minute before we dive into everything, let's talk about the designs of our communities. Among the factors that prevent people or discourage people from walking are multi-lane roadways or high-speed corridors that are unsafe to cross, a lack of street maintenance, and a scarcity of sidewalks. According to Smart Growth America's 2021 Dangerous Design Report, from 2010 to 2019, drivers in the U.S. struck and killed 53,435 pedestrians, an average of more than 14 people each day. A report released in 2023 by Walk Massachusetts, which is a statewide pedestrian advocacy organization, shows fatal pedestrian crashes in Massachusetts were up by 35% in 2022 compared to 2021, with 71% of crashes taking place in environmental justice census block groups. To ensure that walking is a safe, accessible, and convenient alternative for people who cannot or choose not to drive, and to reverse the trends in pedestrian fatalities and injuries, it's critical for communities to become more pedestrian-friendly. In a livable community, people of all ages can safely walk for fitness and get where they need or want to go. A community without sidewalks or with sidewalks that suddenly end is not walkable. Streets that are too wide, have multiple lanes, or lack traffic lights are uncrossable. Public transit stops that pedestrians can't safely access are essentially useless. Walkability is an important issue to AARP because older adults, along with people of color and residents of low-income communities, are disproportionately victims of fatal motor vehicle crashes involving pedestrians. According to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the rates of pedestrian deaths in vehicle crashes per 100,000 people are highest for those aged 70 or older. Now, we deserve to live our lives where we want to and to stay active, engaged, and productive as long as we can. So it's important to ensure the places we live are ready throughout each stage of our lives. Improving communities for older adults also improves communities for people of all ages. We all want to live in places where we feel comfortable and safe, in homes that fit our lives, where we can move around easily, and communities where we can access necessary services, entertainment, and opportunities we want.
So I guess that brings us to the big question. What is a walk audit? So a walk audit is an activity which participants observe and evaluate the walkability of a location to identify and document if and how pedestrians can safely travel along a street, navigate an intersection, and get from point A to B and C and so on. So the ARP Walk Audit Toolkit, which we'll share later in the presentation, really provides community leaders and residents with a roadmap to utilize and gather information and observations, and then advocate for solutions to make streets safer for all users. So I think another question that typically comes up around walk audits is who can really conduct them? Some examples of folks who can do it are individuals, local leaders, such as your Department of Public Works, your housing authority, your mayors, your board of selectmen. Other groups could be your larger groups. Maybe it's just a walking group that's out of the Council on Aging. Your scouts groups. We have environmental groups that do walk audits, and even the group that meets at the local coffee shop. Anybody can essentially lead a walk audit. But anyone who's concerned about walkability of the streets in our neighborhood or community, it's beneficial for groups that walk the identified routes as those who drive the routes, because everyone is taking their time to really observe. So when you think about walk audits and really what they can achieve in the work that we're doing, walk audits really offer that opportunity for us to gather input and in conditional about community infrastructure needs and investments, educate both residents and public officials on the walkability and safety in the community, as well as empower community members and local leaders to become more agents of change. The audits, they're not just about identifying the areas of concern. They can be really used to reaffirm and encourage the replication of good infrastructure in parts of the community where those investments in pedestrian safety have not yet been made. So there's some things to think about. Additionally, walk audits, they can lead to reduced traffic congestion, healthier, more active lifestyles, increased property values, and safer streets, which is ultimately what we're all looking for.
So inclusivity is important to the walk audit process, since streets should be usable for people of all ages, experiences, and abilities. Walk audits conducted by groups or teams are best when they include auditors who are diverse, those who walk at different paces, those who roll rather than walk, or who have vision or hearing impairments, or who have other differences that impact them as pedestrians. When a street is safe and accessible for someone with a disability or mobility difference, it is safe and accessible to everyone. As you see in the photos, an audit resulted in portable beach mats being used to make the shore more accessible for anyone walking or rolling on the sand. Pedestrian walkway provides two options: take the steps or take the ramp.
All right, so here's where we're going to get you engaged with this a little bit. So we're going to look at this picture that you see on the screen here. And I'm going to give you a description of one of the areas. And if you could, in chat, tell us what number I'm talking about. So the first one is a solid ramp graded down from the top of a sidewalk to the surface of an adjoining street. Allows smooth passage for wheelchairs, bicycles, and baby strollers. So in chat, you're gonna tell us what number you think that is that I'm talking about. Oh, cool. Saw a few answers come in there. So if you said curb cut, that's it. Hopefully you've heard of a curb cut, but this is some of the language, vocabulary, I guess, that is used when we're talking about that can be used when discussing walk audits. Another area, I'll try one more. How about unlike a pre-timed traffic signal or don't walk sign, this device is activated by pedestrians when needed. So nope, on a real streetscape, the beacon, this type of beacon is near a traffic light and walk signals. They'd be all synchronized to enable the crossing. All right, if you said 7, that's right. It's pedestrian hybrid beacon. It's that image right in the middle there where you see it's enough to get you to the middle of the street so you can focus on one lane of traffic at a time. So there's various other areas, vocabulary words that you can kind of learn from here, be it the tree canopy, pedestrian island, tactile ground surface indicators, all terms you may hear when discussing walk audits or talking to city and town planners in regards to transportation and walk safety in your community. So now we know kind of the basics around walk audits. So we're now going to dive into some of the steps to really pulling a walk audit off in your community. So step 1, we're really going to determine where. Where is this going to happen? You want to visit and map an area where people need or want to walk. The audit location can cover just one spot, such as an intersection or a block, or it can take place along an entire route covering several streets and intersections. So keep in mind, the smaller areas, the smaller the area, the easier it is to conduct an audit, identify problems, and advocate for solutions to get results. The larger the area, the larger the potential impact. Second, you want to think about what. So what will the walk audit take place in one location, or will the walk audit occur along a route? The toolkit really contains worksheets suitable for the observational single location audit or walking audit in which the participants experience an area's walkability. So that's more likely your non-walkable areas. So things you want to keep in mind, a single location audit, again, for observing areas is different. You want to observe it different times of the day. It's also a good activity for people who are unable to remain on their feet for a long stretch of time. Next, you want to think about a single location audit is also a great way to include very young and much older participants in an activity. Since the auditors can sit in a safe, comfortable spot, such as on a building or a patio, or beneath the shade of a nearby tree, while counting people or cars or whatever their assigned task might be. Additionally, the walk audit assesses the walkability of a larger area, such as between key destinations, and is useful activity for people who can and want to walk longer distances and can be active for longer amounts of time.
So who should conduct the walk audit? Will it be conducted by one person or several? If several, how will people of different abilities, ages, and life experiences be included? The toolkit contains worksheets suitable for a solo auditor or a team made up of neighbors, colleagues, community members, and ideally elected officials or others with influence. Having local leaders see and experience the location and pedestrian safety problems firsthand can be a fast track to achieving needed change. So keep in mind, first, if the walk audit is conducted by one person, multiple visits might be needed in order to perform all the desired observations or to evaluate the street activity at various times of the day and document them accordingly. 2, if the walk audit is done by 2 or more people, individual assignments can be made. Train the auditors ahead of time so everyone notes and documents their observations in the same way. And 3, after a team audit, someone will need to gather and tally the collective results. And then the next step is when. The volume and type of traffic, such as cars, buses, bikes, pedestrians, will likely vary depending on the day of the week or time of day. Is the walk audit being done because of concerns about the safety of particular pedestrians, such as school children, workers, shoppers, or retirees? So if so, conduct the audit when those people will be present. If observations are needed during multiple times of the day, including after dark, schedule auditors to work in shifts. And keep in mind to check the weather forecast. There's no need for walk auditors to endure extreme temperatures, precipitation, or wind. And be more comprehensive in the audit and secure about the observations, considering repeating the audit in the same location, the same way, but on a different day. And once the audit is done, start preparing the report. The findings can be shared with the community and presented to local leaders who may be able to solve or help solve the documented problems.
All right, so step 2, you're gonna get set. You wanna print out the walk audit worksheets. Remember, some of the worksheets are suitable for a solo auditor. Others are helpful for group efforts. There are options for observational audits that take place in one location, as well as for audits that document the walkability between destinations. Number 2, you want to gather your walk audit supplies. In addition to the worksheets, auditors will need to make sure you have clipboards, notebooks, pens, pencils, tape measures, digital or smartphone cameras, and printed or online street map. The camera is actually a really good tool to make sure you have with you because you want to take pictures. Pictures, as we all know, speak 1,000 words. So make sure you're taking pictures. You want to remind your participants to wear comfortable footwear, wear suitable clothing. As Teresa just said, prepare for the weather. Make sure you have sunscreen. Make sure you have raincoats if it's raining or if the weather's going to be changing. Portable seating if necessary. You want to have flashlights or headlamps. Brightly colored shirts, jackets, safety vests for visibility is one item that we want to make sure you're thinking about keeping on hand. And if it's something smaller, preferably something that kind of sticks out of your pockets, so people can see you. Again, you're observing the safety of walkability in an area, so you want to make sure you yourself are visible and staying safe. The next part is you want to make your map. Using a map website like Google Maps to capture and print a bird's eye view image of the walk route area, or using our Make a Map worksheet to draw a single map. These maps are extremely helpful for laying out kind of the roadmap you're going to use. As you see in the image there, you want to make sure you're labeling the streets and make note of any key features such as stores, schools, and if they exist, sidewalks. Next, you want to take photographs and or videos of the area so others can see the challenges and strengths. You want to match and mark the photographs and or video locations on the map. And lastly, you want to indicate any other problem spots or areas of opportunity, such as a bus stop with no seating or a shelter. These are the items you want to make sure you're marking on your map.
So step 3 is go and do the walk audit. First, look and learn. These tasks can be divided among the auditors, counting the cars that pass the location, counting pedestrians who walk along and or cross the street, noting the demographic characteristics of the pedestrians, such as age or physical ability, timing how long the traffic light stops vehicles so that pedestrians can cross, and assessing why people are walking in the location. Are they exercising? Are they commuters, shopping, dog walking, and so on? Then produce the proof. Use the photographs and video along with audio if traffic noise is among the concerns to document and show the overall area as well as the problem spots. Since many walk audits reveal both bad features and good ones, be sure to photograph the location's positive attributes as well. Then the details to focus on include crosswalk signals, overhead traffic lights, turning lanes, curb cuts, sidewalks, crosswalks and vehicle stop lines, and lighting.
And lastly, we're going to talk about preparing a report. So really you want to prepare your report. You're going to summarize the walk audit's findings in a short, easy to read, easy to share report handout. PowerPoint presentation and or video. As tempting as it may be to share every observation from the audit, elected officials, other local leaders and municipal staff might be put off and overwhelmed by a dense and lengthy document. Share the most compelling highlights in the summary report. The deep details can be provided later if needed or requested. Other than that, you want to make sure you're sharing your results. You want to ask for meetings and ask questions. I think it's always important that we're continuing to ask questions of our local leaders, so that they are aware that we're interested in making our communities more walkable. Testify. If there's an opportunity to go to a town meeting or city hall meetings, you want to go and testify. Share your story around what you observed at being out on these walk audits. And then lastly, you want to propose solutions. The toolkit really dives into opportunities to propose solutions that could really help further the walkability and safety in our communities. As we mentioned earlier, there is a full walk audit toolkit. It is available online. It takes you through everything Teresa and I covered today. That really takes you step by step, shows you all the worksheets, and even some real examples from communities, both here in Massachusetts and nationwide. So definitely something to think about. And now we're going to open up to questions. If you have questions, please use the Q&A feature to let us know. And Teresa and I will take a look at those and try to answer them as best we can. I'll stop sharing. Awesome. I think there was a really good question that just came in around timing. Teresa, do you want to take this one? So as far as how long should a walk audit be, do you think?
I don't know that there's a specific time. It might take, a little bit of time depending on the area, the neighborhood, what it is you're looking for, and how many people you have. So I don't think there's a specific time, but I also don't believe you need to be out there all day long. So it should be, and maybe an hour. I mean, on average, I would say, but if it's getting longer than that, you may have to do it over the course of time.
Gotcha. Good. Thank you. Thank you for that. We saw another question just come in that says, my borough says all the land flanking the main roads are privately owned, so they can't put sidewalks in. Is that true? And that they don't have some right of way along the roadways? Honestly, this is a question to take up with the borough. Bring this to town meeting. Talk to the city planner or the town planner to really get an understanding of what options are available, especially when you're talking about addressing private land property, as well as sidewalks. Was there anything you want to add to that, Teresa?
Yeah, I mean, I find it hard to believe that, a company would own the main roads. So I would definitely question that. And yeah, exactly. Go to your town, whatever it is, the council, to find out exactly what does the zoning ordinance say in that area, and then go from there. So something about that somehow seems odd to me. So I would investigate further.
Definitely. And that's one of those opportunities where, again, taking photos and really documenting where the interest for sidewalks is could be helpful in that discussion and really having those conversations. Especially if it's multiple folks who are really looking at or can demonstrate the necessity for sidewalks there. This is the tool to help you have that conversation and honestly help guide the conversation, hopefully to a solution that is beneficial for everybody. Well, with that, we don't want to take up too much time. I want to thank you all. I want to extend a sincere thank you to each of you for being a part of the discussion today. This session, really learning about walk audits. Obviously, I want to give a big shout out to my partner, Teresa, for helping me out today. I appreciate it. But we hope you found the insights shared today valuable in your efforts to enhance walkability and accessibility in your communities. For more information about walk audits, you can always visit aarp.org/walk audit. Remember, the power to create positive change lies within each of us. So let's continue advocating for safer, more inclusive public spaces. Keep walking the path towards better communities. Thank you and have a wonderful afternoon.